Welcome back to Professional Quotient. I'm your host, Jason Winningham, and today we have an awesome guest, Bradley Landfier.
Hi.
Bradley, would you like to introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. So I'm a video production specialist here at Market Scale. I've been working here for about 10 months, and I've been in the video production and film industry for about 15 years.
That's very cool. How did you get into video production?
Yeah, so I started out in still photography in 2010.
Awesome.
My wife and I, we were doing wedding photography together.
Oh, cool.
And then we did that for like 7 years. And then I transitioned into the commercial photography market.
Okay.
And editorial and doing, product photography and magazine photography. And then one of my clients asked me to shoot a video for them, which I had never done before. And I thought, it's cameras. How hard can it be?
How steep was that learning curve?
A lot steeper than I thought it was going to be. But I completely fell in love with the creative process of filmmaking. And it was just, I went, head first down the rabbit hole after that. And that's how it all started. Yeah.
That's awesome. When you say you fell in love with, does that mean when you're working in that kind of work, you lose track of time? Like, how do you know that you love what you're doing?
The saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Like, I always enjoy what I'm doing. When I'm working with cameras and lights and all that stuff, like, it's just, I don't see it as something that I wake up and begrudgingly submit to have to go do. Like, I don't hate going to the office knowing that I'm going to go run cameras. I'm like, all right, come on, let's do it. Let's make something. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Well, it started off with photography. So let me ask you, was photography something you were just naturally already interested in? How did you find yourself there to begin with?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. My career path has been anything but typical. It's been a long process of stumbling into things unintentionally.
Okay. Yeah.
I was not raised to be in this industry.
Okay.
I come from a military family. My dad was a veteran. My whole youth, I was planning on joining the military myself.
Okay.
But in the midst of all of that, early years, I always had a camera with me.
Okay. No
one ever thought anything of it. My parents never thought, oh, maybe we should send him to, art school or something like that. That was never a thought. I wasn't doing fine art photography at that time. I was, taking happy snaps of being a goofball with my friends. But I had like all the walls in my room were just plastered with photos and stuff.
Neat.
And then after high school, I had a friend who was actually doing like cool photography. And I just looked at his stuff and I was like, that looks really cool. Like, I want to try that. So my parents bought me my first camera, which, and this was in 2004.
Okay.
2004, I got my first digital camera. It was a 3.2 megapixel, a little Canon point and shoot. And I just started goofing around with, doing weird stuff with, being able to use manual controls on the camera. And so that's how I got started. I just started doing it for fun. Fast forward several years to 2010, I had been working with my dad doing construction. And during the recession years at that time, he ended up having to close shop, and I had to find a job. Or I was faced with a choice. I either had to find a job, or my wife was like, maybe you should like do something with this hobby of yours that you keep spending money on.
Good point. Good advice. Yeah.
So we decided together that we would start a wedding photography business because it didn't matter what the economy was doing. We were in the middle of a recession. We're like, people don't stop getting married.
Good point.
So it was honestly probably to this day, probably still the best business decision I ever made.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. It's recession proof. Yeah.
It was very recession proof, and we did really well over the years that we were doing that. But I didn't want to stay in wedding photography.
Okay.
I wanted to do other more interesting and more diverse things. And I mean, now I'm really happy with the broad scope of work that I've done over my career.
Awesome. And it sounds like you might not have a typical day to day, but if you could offer maybe what your week by week kind of looks like with this, could you just share with us for somebody that is thinking about production work but doesn't really know that much about it yet, just to give them a fuller picture?
Like, what does a normal day look like?
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a normal day in production.
No normal. Okay. Within let's say a project then, what might some of your days look like? What could people expect if they're wanting to get in this field?
The industry is changing very quickly, especially right now with, the very rapid adoption of AI. And so the tools and the process is changing very quickly. In my field of cinematography and camera operating, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Okay.
There's a lot of anxiety in among people, my peers in the industry, because our jobs are getting axed right now because businesses don't want to spend the money, in the commercial market, especially. People don't want to spend the money on high-end production. They want to do things cheaper and faster, which doesn't always necessarily mean better.
Yeah. But
if it's good enough to meet the bottom line, then why do we pay for better when this is faster? And there's always that give and take of like quality versus efficiency. And unfortunately, like when it comes to corporate and commercial work, unfortunately, the bottom line is usually the most important line. And so,
can you give an argument for why quality would be better?
When you go to buy a car, or a house, or clothing, you have a lot of options. Okay, when you go to buy a car, are you going to buy something that just gets you from point A to point B, or do you want something that's going to be reliable, something that's going to maybe have some style, some flair to it, maybe something that's got functions that you want?
And if you're in sales, perhaps you want your car to show off a little bit so you're impressive. There's a lot of different reasons to
4 wheels or 2 wheels. You can have a motorcycle. Okay, if it's just a matter of transportation, then good enough is all you need. Maybe that's not what you're looking for. Maybe you want to make a statement. Maybe you want to show up and wow people.
Sure.
Maybe it's a matter of wanting to feel good about yourself. Maybe driving is a big part of your job and you want to be comfortable. Okay, so does that make sense? So quality can be, in if we take it back to production, if we're just talking about a product, or if we're talking about a service or telling a story, like if we're just trying to communicate information, then there's a lot of very simple, easy ways to communicate that. But then we're combining technical information transfer with art.
Okay.
And then that comes down to taste.
Sure. Yeah.
And style, and preferences, and when those decisions about taste get made based on dollars instead of what's the most tasteful, what has the most style, what's gonna stick in people's head and make them say wow, like there's a conflict of interests. And like the art side of the community wants things to be better all the time. It's not gonna be faster, it's not gonna be cheaper, but it's gonna be better. The executive side, we're not concerned about better necessarily unless it has a direct impact on the bottom line, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, in a tangible way.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Well, within professional quotient, with the professional equity of that builds it. And I like to say professional quotient, just like our IQ or our emotional quotient, it's something that it can, well, unlike those two things, actually, it's something that we can easily keep rising because we can always be building up our professional equity, which is really how we utilize these things and put them to use. Out of that, our professional equity being our education, our experience, our community, and other things, which do you think is the most valuable that you hold within your professional equity?
It's kind of hard to choose one over the other.
Sure.
I see them all as very interconnected.
That's a fair point. Talk to that. Yeah, I love that.
I'm personally, I'm a very extroverted person.
Okay.
Like I'm a social butterfly. I love to meet new people all the time and just strike up conversations like you and I did, just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we just met.
Just met, just started chatting, and then you're like, hey, why don't you sit down here? Okay.
Exactly.
So like, those personal relationships, very important. I would say the vast majority of all the clients that I've worked with over the course of my career came through relationships. Like almost none came through advertising myself. I don't spend any money at all on advertising.
Okay.
Everything is, either word of mouth or people that I know. And then skills, that was part of your question, right?
Sure, absolutely.
So I never went to school for any of this. I'm completely self-taught. Fortunately, I come from an upbringing of, I was homeschooled.
Okay.
K through 12, homeschooled. Never set foot inside a public school. And so because of that, it's just very deeply ingrained in me to be a self-starter.
Okay.
So to be self-educated, everything I know, I either got from books or YouTube tutorials or just, mountains of trial and error, trying stuff, seeing what works and what doesn't, finding what I like, what I don't like, and turning it into a toolbox of skills.
Sure. You've kind of spoken to this already in some fashion, but I'll ask the question anyway, which is, have you had to overcome obstacles in building up your professional equity?
The entrepreneurship side of it, because I work here. I'm an employee here.
Yes.
But I'm part-time here, and the rest of the time I'm freelance contractor.
Okay.
And so the biggest struggles that I have faced, obstacles, have all been revolved around being a solopreneur.
Okay.
Because film production is intrinsically a team production, project. It's very, very difficult to do anything truly alone as a filmmaker. You can do a lot of stuff alone as a photographer, but as a filmmaker, there's so many more people that have to be involved in one capacity or another. And, as a freelancer, running a business has been one of the hard parts because I don't think of myself as a business person.
Okay.
I think of myself as an artist and as a craftsman, a technician. Like I'm good at what I do, and I try to focus on the thing that I'm good at, and the business side of it. That's the part where I feel like the stuff that I'm forced to do.
Okay.
I don't like bookkeeping.
Sure.
I don't like doing taxes.
Sure.
And all the legal stuff that goes with running a business.
Yeah. And there's
that's not the stuff I get excited to go to the office
for. There's
for.
a lot that is encompassed in running a business. So when you're trying to break into that and do your own thing, and you're learning all these new things, you said you're a self-starter and you learn how to do things, but are you then relying on other people's help for building up your own business, or are you also learning all those things and doing those?
Yes. I have a lot of other friends who are also entrepreneurs and business owners, and we either collaborate together, kind of like our little circle of friends, kind of
circle of trust.
Kind of. I follow a lot of business podcasts.
Okay.
I think I just found a new one.
Yeah. So with your running your own business and learning how to do that, yeah, are there people you're leaning in on, or are you just literally just having to do every last thing? And if you are doing every last thing, what kind of advice would you give somebody that wants to start their own business?
Don't get into film production. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Film production is an industry that will make you love it
Mm-hmm.
and make you hate it all at once.
Fun.
Like in the beginning, like you can find memes about this all over social media. It's like day one, you're like all peppy, you're like all excited,
yeah.
and then like a couple years later, like you're like smoking cigarettes and just like can't wait to like be done working for the day. But then someone's like, "Hey, I've got this project I'm gonna do for just a passion project. Do you want to come?" And you're like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yes. I can't get enough.
Is there any money? No. Okay.
Oh, well.
Let's just do it anyway.
Sounds like drugs.
Yeah.
A little bit of an addiction there to it, even if there's a hatred. So
yes.
Yeah, nice and healthy.
No one gets forced into filmmaking.
Sure. Okay.
You do it because you love it, or you don't do it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Before our time ends here on this conversation today, is there anything else you'd just like to give a spotlight or just throw some wisdom out there for somebody entering into this field?
Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. That is solid advice, personal and professional.
Yeah. Just don't be a jerk. For somebody that wants to get into filmmaking, like I said, it's intrinsically a team thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be really inspiring.
Sure.
To work with a team of people who like nobody's out to like be the alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just put our heads together and just make something awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Like those are the days like you're not looking at the clock waiting to go home. You're just like, come on, this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make something awesome. But if you're working with someone who's a jerk, then it hurts everything. Like nobody wants to be around that person.
Even in a good environment.
It hurts the creativity. It hurts the final result. So yeah, just treat people nice, be humble, and work really hard.
That seems like very solid advice. Thank you, Bradley.
Yeah.
I think that's the same for all professions, honestly, because you could learn anything, but then the reality is you get into an organization or a group and things are done a specific way. I mean, you have to learn from other people and just by your own, and learn from yourself, through your own mistakes.
The roadmap today for someone, young wanting to get into the industry. So I've had the honor and privilege of meeting some pretty high level people in Hollywood. One in particular, father, son, John Connor Sr. and John Connor Jr. They're both highly accomplished cinematographers. They did movies like E.T.
Nice.
Both Top Guns.
Neat.
The Revenant, Fight Club. Okay, like these are two people,
but not the Terminator. Weirdly,
maybe
because of John Connor.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sorry.
That's reference.
Sorry.
Anyway, so
Sci-fi nerd.
I'm honored and privileged that actually I know these people and I've actually interviewed them on camera.
Awesome.
One of the things that I learned from them is that there used to be a very well defined ladder to climb. Like if you wanted to be a cinematographer in the film industry, you had to start at the bottom rung in the camera department as what they call a loader.
Okay.
Like you're loading film into the cameras, and then when the camera is done with that roll of film, you unload it and load in the next roll, and that's the bottom rung. And from there, you would move up to a assistant camera, an AC. Usually a second AC, and that's the second AC is the guy that claps the slate.
Okay, sure.
And they do a lot of
Take one.
They put like tape marks on the ground for
where
actors.
you stand.
Yeah, so like
Okay.
where actors are moving, they have different colors of tape
Mhm.
for the different actors. That's all second AC, and then from there you would move up to first AC, which they're the people building the cameras,
Mhm.
setting everything up, focus pullers. If people don't realize it, because I mean, with autofocus today, people don't realize that there was a whole skill set and a professional job of just focusing the
Okay.
camera.
Mhm.
So, and then from there you would move up to camera operator, and then from there you would move up to director of photography, cinematographer. Um, it doesn't work like that anymore because
Okay.
now, because of digital and
Mhm.
YouTube,
Mhm.
if you can make something that looks half decent and put it on YouTube, you can be discovered as a cinematographer without having ever been on a set.
Ah, interesting.
For the young people coming up, it's like a golden opportunity.
Mhm.
For the people who have been in the industry for a long time, it's a real frustration. They're like, you
Sure.
haven't put in your time. You haven't
Mhm.
earned this.
Mhm.
Like I've been doing this for a decade or more, however
Yeah.
many years, and they're like
With the promise and expectation of
and
growth.
working with a lot of jerks.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure. Yeah.
Um, and then they get to their spot, and then they find themselves maybe losing work to some newbie
Mhm.
just because they have a flashy video on YouTube.
Mhm.
So it's a weird time.
Well, the reality is with AI, while it can do amazing things and it can create, it's really just recreating what's already been
It's
created. Because
derivative.
yeah, it is. And so there's still this ability for humans to come into the equation and blow our socks off by having something brand new that's new that I
Mm-hmm.
don't think any kind of computation or algorithm is going to ever be able to do,
Mm-hmm.
because it can blend things together in new ways, but it's only taking old things it already knows to do
Mm-hmm.
that.
It's
Humans
kind
are
of like
inventive, though.
when we were just chatting earlier, we're talking about my side hobby, which is woodworking
Yeah.
and carpentry. Um, Nobody looks at like a piece of like Walmart furniture,
Hmm.
like press board, and
Yeah.
that's like it's all fake. No one looks at that and goes, "What a work of art!"
Yeah. No. If they
But it's
do,
cheap. It gets done fast, and it
uh-huh.
gets done cheap
Sure.
and meets the bottom line, and it's good enough.
It's good enough.
But when you want something that's a work of art, you got to find an artist,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going to be cheap, and it's probably not going to be fast,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to be really damn good.
And you'll have something that's unique,
Yeah.
and that is something you can't get with
And
pre-production
from an artist's perspective, looking at the business world and commercial, anything commercial, okay,
sure.
quality makes a statement about your brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if you're using AI to generate everything, then you're losing the quality of the human touch,
Mm-hmm.
and people want authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that say about a brand that doesn't value authenticity or doesn't value
Humanness.
humanity? Yeah.
We cut so many corners that we end up cutting out our own humanity a little bit through
Yeah.
embracing that.
Mhm.
And I embrace AI for communications, but what I do is I feed it what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
And I usually say, here's the type of tone I'm looking for. And I don't just go with what it spits out. There's still a little fine tuning. There's a danger in doing too much of just, I need you to create this and then walk away from it and
Yeah.
just, it is what it is. That's definitely not.
I mean, I think AI is great for maybe starting the idea
Mhm.
process.
Mm-hmm.
Like coming up with a first concept.
Mm-hmm.
Whether through image generation or just
Sure.
like asking for like a text response or like, okay, I want to create something like this, and it gives you, and then that's your starting point.
Sure.
You don't end there.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Now where do I go next from here? Now where do I take this idea, which is already derivative of something else that the AI has been fed earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take that. There's a quote from Ansel Adams. the photographer brings with them to the creative process every movie you've ever seen, every song you've ever heard, every relationship you've ever had, every hurt feeling you've ever had, every experience of joy you've ever had. You bring that to the process of creating an image. And so when you're using a resource like AI, like, okay, now you've just received something which is a piece of like worldwide knowledge, like a reflection of it.
Yeah.
So now you can bring that with you, but you still have to continue that process beyond that. You can't stop there because that's not, it hasn't created anything. It has fed back to you a conglomeration of ideas and concepts. Now it's up to the human creator to do something meaningful with it.
Especially on the emotive side of it, because you were talking about that, the emotions that you take in with you to create art, that at least right now computers don't have emotions, so that they might think they know a lot about our emotions but don't actually have that lived experience, so that wouldn't be coming in with it at all. Yeah, that's interesting. Do you want to self-promote anything on this, like chisel and
Oh, that's my woodworking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Why not?
Yeah, my Instagram for that is chisel and saw. If anybody here likes furniture and woodwork, yeah, you can check that out. Chisel and saw on Instagram. My website for my film and photography is just my name, bradleylandfier.com. But you know, right now I'm spending most of my time here at Market Scale.
And to our audience that's listening, if you've enjoyed this conversation, please like, subscribe, and leave a positive review. And remember, just like our IQ and our EQ, we have a PQ. But unlike our IQ and our EQ, we can easily raise our PQ every single day. Just keep learning, building, and connecting. Until next time.